Your bracelet was very useful, mon ami. The miracle didn't last long.
Please get me out of this mess!
I give thanks for your ardor, mysterious Galatea. Once again, you have saved my skin. By the way, you were only half right. Your miraculous bracelet quickly lost its effect. I thought my time had come. Balsam. I didn't know I could run that fast.
Let's get back to the matter at hand, please. Did you find anything?
Ah oui, bien sûr. Here, this pocket knife belongs to Citoyen Brisson.
Believe me, you won't be in Versailles much longer, Anne Joseph. I'd wager good money that the Estates General will come to nothing.
As long as the king refuses to hear the people's grievances, the Third Estate will be intransigent.
That is precisely what worries me. What if the only way out is through a confrontation?
The members of the Third Estate are not warmongers. They will not fire the first shot.
Certes. But what about the king? There are already rumors that he is on the move. His armies are said to be on the warpath, ready to sound the alarm for a new St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. Anyone who dares to challenge the royal decree would be in danger.
Allons, what are you afraid of, Pierre? Won't I always be here to protect you?
Of course, Madame Amazon. But of course.
This is a valuable find.
Will you finally tell me what this treasure hunt is all about?
We will discuss it later. For now, run for cover, and do not come out until the danger has passed.
What, did you think I was planning to wait around out in the open?
You've come just in time, my diabolical dancer.
Not one move, villain!
Oh, so now you presume to command your master?
Only my conscience commands me. Wretch.
Oh, voyez-vous cela? It was certainly a mistake to bind you to the anima of an uncontrollable degenerate. A blunder that I intend to rectify imminently.
Ella! Not another move, I said!
Awaken to your new glorious being, Brusseau, and heed only the sound of my voice. Get rid of this nuisance once and for all!
Hear your voice, Monsieur le Comte. Only your voice. Obey. I must obey. The dancer. Kill the dancer. Nom de chien. Aled! They're going to kill me!
It's all right. No one here wants to hurt you, Citoyen Brissot.
Citoyenne Terragne, please, help me.
Do not fear. She's right here.
Would one of you be so kind as to tell me what on earth is going on?
Don't be afraid, Pierre. We'll explain everything as soon as we're on our way.
Yes, you're right. Let's hurry to the Cordelier. Abbe Gregoire promised we would be safe there.
I can attest to that, Citoyen. The walls are impenetrable, and you will be in excellent company.
Will you come with us, Aegis?
Yes, let's go. We've spent too long in this gruesome place.
Madame, these gentlemen and I have come to an agreement.
That is good news.
We will resolve our differences when the time comes. The matter is settled.
You can count on it, Laclos.
But now it is clear that we are fighting the same adversary.
Adversary? You are rather indulgent, Monsieur le Marquis. It seems that you are still fond of him, despite his heinous crimes.
Oh, de grâce.
Truly, the king is no more than a wild beast. And together, in large numbers, we will hunt him down.
Madame, please give the model and the engineering notes to Monsieur de Robespierre. However, you shall hold on to the patents. No one knows what the future may hold.
Let there be peace between you, gentlemen, for there is still much work to be done. We believe we now have a way to destroy the lanterns. Without them, the machines will no longer be able to carry out their sinister task. But it is still just a strategy, which needs to be tested. And even a conclusive experiment will not guarantee our success. Where will we find a working cannon? How will we get more vitriol? How will we make more cannonballs? Please, I ask each of you to set to work without delay. Pour la nation, messieurs.
Pour la nation.
Pour la nation.
Pour la nation.
Have you found the missing letter?
No. It is not yet in my possession.
You should look in addition to... Don't forget that...
Goodbye, Citoyen Mir. And down with... Citoyen Robespierre.
Madame.
Were you present when the Estates General was dissolved?
Oui, madame. I had a front row seat. I witnessed what it cost to defy the crown. We laid bare before the king the abject misery of his subjects. It was more than he could suffer. So he had the people's representatives dispersed by means of bayonets. At least we only had to contend with soldiers made of flesh and blood, positively angelic compared to the machines that have swept through Paris.
Goodbye, Citoyen Robespierre. And death to the tyrant. Citoyen Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the gunpowder was moved to the Bastille.
Diable. You must find a way to get there and put an end to this threat.
Goodbye, Citoyen Lavoisier. Citoyen Bay.
Ah, mademoiselle. Well, what news?
I found this box with astronomical symbols on it. I believe it belongs to Vaucanson's daughter.
Athenais' secret box. I built it with my own hands. It was my gift to her on her 15th birthday.
I wasn't able to open it.
Naturellement. Athenais and I are the only ones who know how. Allow me. You must arrange the planets the way they were aligned on the day of Athenais' birth. Voila, like this.
What's this locket?
Athenais is always wearing this. It contains a portrait of her late mother. She said it was her most cherished possession in all the world. To think, the poor child never knew her own mother.
You monster! What did you do to her?
Ludia, what happened? You froze the moment you touched the locket. I thought I'd lost you.
I saw her. Athenais de Vaucanson. The Comte de Cagliostro has her.
Mon Dieu. It is just as I feared.
He bound her spirit to an automat.
Please, say no more. Athenais. It is her spirit that animates you, is it not?
Yes. I believe so.
Seigneur, quelle abomination.
Where can I find Athenais' body?
God only knows. Although I assume that the Comte de Cagliostro is taking pains to keep her alive, this is certainly the only way to keep her spirit alive in you. The only way to free her is to find her body.
Why was Eugène de Vaucanson imprisoned in the Bastille?
Once he discovered the king's true intentions, he refused to continue cooperating with him. He refused to use his talents to create this abominable army. But the king didn't take kindly to his resignation. Eugène did manage to get a letter to me just before he was arrested. Here, take it.
Citoyen Raymond.
Can I help you, Aegis?
I went to the Hotel de Massiac as agreed. What I discovered goes beyond your darkest conjectures. The club's members have no intention of merely depriving their slaves of rest. Rather, with the tyrant's support, they plan to replace them with automat harvesters. Naturally, Cagliostro, that cur, is behind this.
Ma foi. But such a plan would certainly only improve the lot of these unfortunate people.
You are mistaken, mon père. If the planters get their way, they will have a greater need of slaves than ever. Only this time, they intend to slaughter them to power their machines.
Quelle abomination!
Par tous les saints.
4 days ago, the Paris Guard captured 100 black people. They were to be sacrificed as part of an experiment to test the effectiveness of the automat harvesters. Luckily, I was able to prevent the massacre.
Where are they now?
In a place they call the Dépôt des Noirs. I don't know where it is, but I managed to get the key. It bears the inscription, Tour du Diable.
The Devil's Tower is a prison in Vincennes, within the chateau walls.
That's 3 leagues from here. We'll only be able to free the prisoners once we're able to move freely ourselves.
At least they were spared the fate that the king and his accomplices had planned for them.
And what will you do with the 2 servants you employ, Monsieur Raymond?
I will continue to treat them well, as I always have.
However, under the laws you insist on following, they will become slaves again the moment they leave the kingdom for Saint-Domingue.
Certainly not, Monsieur de Robespierre. What kind of a man would I be if what I have heard had not opened my eyes? The planters of Massiac have been proven to be nothing but avaricious murderers. I thought I was dealing with opposition, but now I discover them to be vile enemies, from whom it would be vain to expect any compromise. From this day on, I will fight against their interests with all my strength, and will not lay down my arms until the last slave in the Empire has been freed.
Rest assured, then, that the people will fight by your side, Monsieur Raymond.
That's the spirit, my friends. Vive l'égalité!
Monseigneur.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Goodbye, Monseigneur. Vive la nation.
If that, then so be it.
This Terroigne de Méricourt. What is the significance of these objects steeped in memories?
Nimis. I have reread every work that I have on them. Pages that have remained unintelligible to this day. These echoes go back to the beginning of time, to that fateful day in ancient Greece when some dark magician took it into his head to bind a soul to an inanimate object. You see, Aegis, there is nothing more diabolical, nothing more unnatural than this sorcery. The soul is the very essence of the divine. It refuses to submit to such an abomination and resists, eventually breaking. The earliest necromancers whose works have survived through the centuries all describe the same phenomenon. When a soul is fragmented, 3 shards of memory are torn from its consciousness and take shelter in 3 objects that the victim held dear. It's as if these memories wish to remain bound to the mortal who had held them until then.
I found this notebook written in Latin.
Indeed. Medieval Latin, to be precise. Oh, hold on. Bon sang. Aegis, what a find. This handwriting. I would recognize it anywhere. It's in Nicholas Flamel's own hand. Give me some time to study this, and I'll tell you what I'm able to glean from it.
Have you finished reading the notebook, mon père?
Yes, Aegis, and what I learned from it puzzles me. In this diary, Flamel tells of 3 journeys. 3 journeys into what he calls the in-between. A strange world filled with wandering souls. Tormented spirits that are unable to ascend to heaven.
This world. It's where Cagliostro's victims were trapped until I freed them.
En effet, I believe you're right. But that's not all. Flamel planned to return there a 4th time. He wrote this in the final paragraph, in his handwriting, dated 21st of March 1418. That was the day before he died, Aegis. What if his body died while his soul was traveling through limbo? What if he were trapped, a prisoner in this purgatory? Aegis, because of your unique nature, we have an incredible opportunity.
What do you mean, mon père?
If the soul that animates you has been bound to the automaton that serves as its vessel, then it can be separated from it too. And if this were the case, the soul would travel to purgatory, where Cagliostro entraps the souls of his victims.
Hold on. Are you trying to convince me to go and find Nicholas Flamel?
I'm offering you a chance to speak to the man who discovered the Philosopher's Stone. Surely you won't pass it up.
Assuming I agree to venture into purgatory, do I even have a chance of finding him there?
Certainly. According to this journal, the soul flies to the zenith of the place where it left the body of the deceased. Or that of the pilgrim, in this case. If Flamel's soul is trapped in purgatory, as we've guessed, you'll need to go to the house where he drew his dying breath.
Is it still standing?
Of course. It's on Rue de Montmorency, in the quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. You can get there via the cemetery of the Église Saint-Jacques.
And how do you plan to free my spirit from this automat?
We would simply need to break the bond between them. To do this, we would need to stop your machinery. For a short time, of course. We don't want to lose you, ma chère. As for the rest, it will be a question of mechanics, chemistry, or electric currents, or something or other. Therein lies the problem. This is far beyond my comprehension. But it is fascinating, isn't it? Perhaps Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier could shed some light on the matter.
I found this on Citoyen Terragne's door.
Par tous les saints, Pierre Brissot was taken to the Hôpital Saint-Louis.
Why?
Who knows? No one knows what's been going on there since the king closed it 2 years ago.
After 2 centuries of use, the hospital buildings were in danger of collapsing, and the overcrowded, unsanitary cemeteries all around it were hardly conducive to curing the sick. Not to mention the nearby Montfaucon gallows, where the king could very well make hanged men dance once again.
Has he turned the hospital into a prison?
It's possible. He's lost count of his enemies, but he can't kill everyone, can he?
I'm afraid he has no other purpose, Abbot. He has declared war on the entire human race. This Terragne de Méricourt. Goodbye, Abbot. General Lafayette.
Do you need help, Aegis?
I was able to speak with Citoyen Marat and Citoyen Laclos.
Ah, the scoundrels. Did you force them to confess? Do you know what they did with the children?
They admitted to organizing the ambush at Gros Caillou.
Cursed recreants. Cowardly corrupters of innocence. Where are they holding their prisoners? They must be rescued immediately.
They do not have Charlotte and the Dauphin.
Excuse me? They dare to claim that?
It is the truth. The ambush was a catastrophe. The king had gotten wind of your plans. Automats from Versailles slaughtered the kidnappers and seized the children. By now, the children will have been reunited with their father. There is little doubt about that.
Mon Dieu. Then it is from the clutches of that tyrant in his own palace that they must be saved. I fear that such an undertaking is doomed to failure. although there is no question of giving up.
Goodbye, General Lafayette. Citoyen Necker.
Pardon me, madame.
Goodbye, Citoyen Necker. Citoyen Brissot.
Cher Aegis, I am forever in your debt.
This time your cause nearly cost you your life.
I knew the enemies of our société would do anything to hold on to their privileges, but this... I admit that I could never have imagined this, but I would have gladly sacrificed myself for our dream. There is no worse poison than prejudice based on one's color. It is the harbinger of death and despair. No honest man can tolerate such an injustice.
This time you...
I admit that I would have... There is no on.
You are one of those who are curious about Madame Théoigne's plans, aren't you?
Oh, of course. Women are no less capable of fighting than we are. The only thing that matters is one's love for one's country and the yearning for sacrifice. There are many who mock Anne-Joseph today, but they won't be laughing so loudly when they see her leading the charge of her Amazons.
Your audacity inspires respect, Citoyen Théoigne. There isn't a man in this assembly who measures up to you. But please be more careful. Something terrible could happen if you rush headlong into the fray.
I care not about my fate, Aegis. I wouldn't hesitate a second to sacrifice my life to save the nation.
I've heard you're eager to take up arms against the tyrant.
It's true. I've been itching to fight for such a long time. You had to be completely naive for the king's treachery to take you by surprise. My dream is to found a female cavalry squadron dedicated to defending our nation. The phalanx of the Amazons of Liberty. I went to Versailles as soon as the Estates General opened to get support from the people's representatives.
You must have had to endure a lot of... resistance.
Oh, you can't even imagine. Only a few enlightened minds were willing to listen to me. The first among them was my dear friend Brissot. But it turns out that the Third Estate representatives are no more enlightened than the aristocrats. The inferior status they grant to women is an unjustifiable iniquity. The equality that they preach will remain nothing but a hollow wish, as long as les Français are not free to carry a sword and smite their enemies.
Au plaisir, citoyenne. Citoyen Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Do you think there is any way to interrupt my internal clockwork?
To what end?
I would like to briefly sever the bond between my spirit and this automat.
It is a very strange request, madame. For what purpose do you seek to free your soul from its shell?
According to the abbot, my spirit would then be able to visit purgatory.
Oh, that dreadful place. Why on earth would you want to go there?
I hope to find answers to some very important questions.
You must understand, madame, that your very nature is a mystery to us. We are ignorant as to the principle that imbues you with life, nor do we know how your machinery works. That is why it is impossible for us to make even the slightest alteration. It would mean taking an unacceptable risk. Of course, if we had documents that could shed light on the matter...
Antoine, the blueprints.
What blueprints, mon ami?
Ludia's. Eugène gave them to me when he was working on the modifications ordered by the king. He wanted my opinion on the potential for reducing the size of certain key parts. The documents are obsolete now, but they could tell us quite a bit about the mechanical principles that are shared by Ludia and Aegis.
Bon sang, you're right. Where are the blueprints now?
Alas, the situation is not in our favor. I kept them in the safe at the observatory, but earlier, when I went there to collect my most important documents, before setting off for the convent, I found looters making off with its contents.
Blasted scavengers. Their kind are always quick to make the most of chaos.
I chased them to the keys, but was unable to apprehend them. When they disappeared into an underground passageway under the Louvre, I decided it was best not to follow them.
You acted wisely, mon ami. The automats are everywhere, and the marauders don't stand much of a chance.
I'll try to track them down. Goodbye, Citoyen Lavoisier.
Did you find the blueprints that were stolen from?
No, Citoyen.
Don't forget that those documents are the looters disappeared into the tunnels under the... I find it hard to believe.
Regarding Ludia's blueprints...
Were you able to get them?
No.
Don't forget that the looters... I find it...
Citoyen Necker.
Pardon me, madame. Eh bien, do you come bearing good news?
Your wife. You may rest easy, monsieur. Your wife escaped the massacre. She returned home and left you this letter.
Mon Dieu. She's going to meet our daughter and son-in-law at our charity hospital.
She may already be there.
Madame, I did not dare to dream of such an outcome. My wife and daughter. Can you imagine? And I thought I had lost both of them. The three of us will be able to leave the kingdom and put these horrors behind us forever.
What about the bonds?
Oh, the bonds. Do with them as you see fit. As long as the king does not use them. As for me, I'm going to find my family at once. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I pray that your efforts will be successful. Adieu, madame. Adieu.
Minister Necker has given his bonds to me.
That's quite a nice little sum. Can you imagine? That's 1/5 of the kingdom's entire wealth.
Wealth that the king squanders for his personal benefit according to his whims.
Ma foi.
Monsieur Necker certainly has been very generous to his adoptive country.
Generous? I have my doubts. The loan was granted at a very high rate. So high, in fact, that it would have dug the deficit into an even deeper state of abyss.
Eh bien, monsieur. To what use shall we employ this boonful fortune?
If I could spend it, I'd do everything I could to return to the people their confiscated freedom. To begin, I would get them the bread they so sorely need. It is only after the scourge of famine has been vanquished that armed patriots might then be able to rise up against despotism.
And where will you find wheat, Robespierre? Will you steal it from under the noses of the automats who have sworn to destroy the human race? As for arming the people, this is another one of your delusions. How could your ragged pack of wretches win any sort of battle that'd be unable to lift a sword?
When you insult the people, you insult me, Monsieur de Lafayette.
I am not insulting anyone, Robespierre. But I happen to know what it takes to fight. Unlike you. Monsieur, I was but a lad of 15 when I took up arms. And everyone here knows my role in the liberation of America from British rule. If you allow me to dispose of these bonds, I will found an army that will annihilate the Clockwork King's diabolical machines. As soon as I have the opportunity to leave Paris, I will rally the officers and troops that are stationed in the provinces. Then, I will call for a mass uprising. I will have more than enough money to pay their wages and procure the weapons we need.
And you will have obedient troops at your beck and call, ready to repress anyone who challenges your power.
These troops will only serve the will of the people. I swear it.
Are you sure that the king has spared the rest of the kingdom, Monsieur le Marquis?
I am almost certain of it, mon père. Despite all of his resources, the king does not have enough manpower to occupy all the garrisons in the country.
Aegis, no member of this assembly can force your hand. The choice is yours. To whom will you entrust Monsieur Necker's bonds?
General de Lafayette, I have decided to use these bonds for your cause. I urge you to put them to good use.
You've made the right choice, Dancer. Only professional soldiers and well-trained conscripts stand a chance of winning back the kingdom.
And of course, the people will have to kneel before their liberators. History will recall that sad day when we had to put our fate in the hands of an automat. If only her creator had given her a heart. Alas, she could not help but be blind to the people's misfortune.
Easy, Citoyen Robespierre. Are you forgetting what I've done for all of you?
Of course not. But it seems to me that you are not sensitive to...
Enough! Without me, none of you would be alive today. Whether you like it or not, you have placed your fate in my hands. From this point forward, you no longer have the right to question my decisions. Do you understand?